The Twisted Tale of Jeffrey Dahmer, a darkly comic drama. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer, mild-mannered Midwestern boy turned full-blown terror of the 80s and 90s. If you thought your family's Thanksgiving dinners were uncomfortable, wait until you hear what Jeffrey was cooking up. Spoiler alert, it wasn't turkey. Born in 1960 in Bath Township, Ohio, Jeffrey was the kid who spent recess poking at dead animals while the other kids were trading baseball cards. No one thought much of it. Boys will be boys, they said. Well, those boys didn't end up with skeletons in their closets, literally. As a teenager, Jeffrey was the weird kid at school who could make people laugh with his offbeat antics. But that charm had a darker edge. He was lonely, battling urges he didn't understand, and like any aspiring villain, he spent his free time experimenting. With what, you ask? Oh, just roadkill. While you were learning to play guitar or do algebra, Jeff was dissecting raccoons. Classic teenage phase, right? But things escalated. In 1978, fresh out of high school and with nothing better to do, Jeffrey invited a hitchhiker, Stephen Hicks, over for a drink. They hung out, had a good time, but when Hicks wanted to leave, Jeffrey panicked. Nobody leaves me, he thought, channeling a bit too much soap opera energy. One dumbbell to the head later, Hicks was dead, and Jeffrey was officially in the murder business. Now, you'd think that would be a wake-up call. Maybe stop, get a therapist, join a knitting club? No. Instead, Jeffrey took a 9-year hiatus, as if murder was some kind of seasonal sport. During this time, he honed his drinking skills and perfected his harmless loner persona. But in 1987, the beast was back. By the time Jeffrey moved to Milwaukee, his apartment had become, well, let's just say it wasn't going to win Best Airbnb of the Year. The decor? A mix of mid-century modern and horror movie chic. A blue barrel for dissolving bodies? Check. A freezer stocked with special cuts? Check. Polaroids of his victims in artistic yet horrifying poses? Oh, you bet. Jeffrey had a system. He'd charm men at bars with promises of drinks or cash, bring them back to his place. And well, they never made it out. Let's not sugarcoat it. This guy was running a one-man haunted house where the scares were very real. There were moments where his dark comedy of errors almost got him caught. Take the infamous 1991 incident with 14-year-old Conorak sent to some phone. The boy escaped, drugged and disoriented, only to be returned by police after Jeffrey convinced them it was just a lover's spat. Oh, officers, you know how relationships can be, Jeffrey said, while the kid sat there looking like he'd been through a zombie apocalypse. The cops bought it. If face bombs could solve crimes, this would have been the moment. But Jeffrey's luck ran out in July 1991. Enter Tracy Edwards, the man who finally said, "Not today, Satan," after a harrowing escape from Jeffrey's apartment, complete with handcuffs. In close calls, Tracy flagged down police. When officers walked into the apartment, they weren't ready for what they found: the Polaroids, the body parts, and the undeniable smell of death. One officer reportedly said, we're going to need backup. In court, Jeffrey confessed everything with the energy of someone reading a grocery list. Oh, yeah, I killed 17 people. Yeah, I kept their skulls. Oh, and I ate some of them. What's for lunch? His calm demeanor was as chilling as his crimes, and the court wasted no time sentencing him to life, multiple times over just to be sure. But even prison couldn't handle Jeffrey. In 1994, he was killed by a fellow inmate in a twist of karmic justice that felt almost poetic. Jeffrey Dahmer's story ended the way it lived, violently, tragically, and leaving everyone involved shaking their heads in disbelief. And there you have it, the darkly comedic tale of Jeffrey Dahmer, a man whose hobbies included taxidermy, bad cooking experiments, and really inappropriate home decor. It's a story so bizarre it's hard to believe it's real, but it's also a grim reminder that sometimes truth really is stranger than fiction.